All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Mortgage Coach Mastermind every Friday at 9 o'clock. We're here to bring value. I've got a number of amazing mortgage professionals joining me. We've got Mr. Dan Keller from Seattle. What's up, Dan?
Good morning. I think I just snuck in right at 9.
Dude, we were talking about you. You did. You slid in.
Yeah.
Michelle has to jump at 30 minutes into this, so we're going to kind of focus on her for the first 30 minutes, what she's doing, how she's doing it, but be ready to ask her questions if you're cool with that, bro.
Absolutely.
I've got my co-host, and not only the co-host with this Friday Mastermind, but the co-host for the Modern Real Estate Summit, which we're going to talk a little bit about throughout the call. What's up, Todd?
Hey, not much. Super excited to be here with this all-star panel, especially at a time where I continue to interview real estate agents who said that they haven't heard from a loan officer in a long time, or that their loan officers aren't adding much value. And that just crushes me, right? This is the best time to acquire new real estate agents by being a guide, by being their helper. And so I'm super excited to hear what Michelle, Deborah, and Dan have to say to boost our enthusiasm to get everyone out there and taking action.
Well, a couple things I know for sure is that if it's not the best time ever, it's among the best times to recruit realtors. I hear that over and over in my interviews, that top producers are saying it's never been a better time to recruit agents and to get conversations going with agents that I haven't been able to have in the past. We also have with us Deborah Bird, social media strategist for over 200 loan officers. She goes deep and handles social media takeovers for about 50 mortgage and real estate professionals. What's up, Deborah?
What's up? How are you?
We're good. Well, I'm looking forward to having you weigh in with ideas and strategies around this. In order to be a leader, you have to be well known. I mean, so part of how Dan and Michelle are able to do what they do is because people in their marketplace know who they are. And some of that is because they've done a lot of transactions. They're top producers, obviously. And some of that is the social media content that they're creating and that they are top aware, so that people are like, that person's a leader. That person's a coach. That person's a mentor. And so please help people. Michelle and Dan will cover like, hey, what are we doing in the trenches today? But if you could share, you've got 50 clients, including Denise Donahue as a client. Try to bring those best practices in throughout the call. You cool with that?
You bet.
All right, Michelle, we will have you off the call so you can jump with your grandkids at 9:30 sharp. Maybe even get you out here a minute or two earlier. I know they wouldn't be bummed about that. Let's tell us a little bit about your mortgage practice, because we might have some new people on the call. What kind of volume you're doing, how many realtors you get business from, and then how many where you're a leader and a coach to them. Let's just start with that, and then I'll ask you questions from there.
So I am in Sherman, Texas, just about 60 miles north of Dallas. So I'm in a really, I wouldn't really call us a rural community, but I'm a smaller community that's just made up of a lot of little towns. And I've been in the business since '96. I have a branch. We do about 100 loans a month in the branch, and my team, I run a personal production team that we average about 30 loans a month. So, one of the things that helps me drive business, since I am a producing branch manager, I have to leverage my time. And one of the ways that I have leveraged my time, I enjoy teaching. I love teaching classes and sharing my knowledge. But sometimes I think, and I hear a lot of loan officers say, I don't feel, especially if you're newer in the business, I feel I have a lot to share because I see a lot of transactions, but I'm not a real estate agent. So who am I to be sharing all of this information to realtors? Who am I to be training and mentoring real estate agents when that's not what I do? It's almost imposter syndrome. What is the fear around why you're not sharing this information? Because you're right, Dave, they need us now more than ever. But the answer to that question is, I see 30 transactions personally on my production team. I hear of the struggles of the 100 loans that we do in the office. I hear about the struggles that other loan officers have on their transactions. Well, it's through those struggles that we learn to help the realtors, because they're having those struggles too. their struggles are our struggles. And so I think that, I mean, you're absolutely right. And the game is it's so different now. They need us now more than ever because we're their problem solvers.
No doubt. Now, I think you bring a unique perspective because you've been doing this for a long time. You run a team that does over 30 loans a month. How many total referral partners, realtors that are active at referring you business in a given year? Just give us a rough idea of how many realtors are we talking
So
about?
I nurture and love on right at 76 realtor partners.
Okay, you notice how specific she was there, guys? Right at 76. Not 50-ish, 76. And you notice how she would even answer my question, how many people actively refer you? It's like how many people she loves on and is active with. So I love that. And for the loan, and I'd love for you to answer this question in a way that's valuable to people that are doing a lot of volume, taking it to another level. But I'd also love to have you answer it to someone that it may not be their first month in the business, but they're not at a point where they feel like a coach and leader. Why and how should a loan officer become a coach and a leader to agents?
So, it doesn't, if you're doing 2 transactions a month, if you're doing 3 transactions a month, think about it. How many average transaction does a realtor do a year? You're still seeing more transactions and talking to more people than a realtor does in a year. So there's just the other reason that I think that there shouldn't be that fear of who am I to be sharing information is because it's all about sharing resource and information. You're not being the expert, you're just sharing resources and information as a partner for them.
So I want everybody to write down how many loans you did last year or that you do this year. And I think it's important that they're like purchase loans. And then I want you to either think about or know how many realtors did that many transactions. So it does, obviously if you've I'm on my 10th transaction this year. Okay. You've got to grow your production. There is some work to do, but she made a point. You don't need to be the one leading. You can be the guide. You can be the one out there curating the market, finding some of the best content, some of the best articles, and then you can be providing those in a relevant, tailored way, even if you're brand new.
And what you guys have done for us is it doesn't matter at what level you're at, the resource that you have provided for us to go share with the real estate community, it doesn't matter at what level you are as a producer. It is phenomenal content. So we don't have to be an expert. The modern real estate summit content is the resource. It is the information that we can be providing regardless of what level as a producer you are. You've got the experts for us.
We try. So as a reminder to everyone, you can go to modernrealestatesummit.com and the guide is now available. And the guide is basically a 12-year pass. So the event when you
12-month pass, Dave.
Say that again.
You said 12-year pass. We're not that nice.
Yeah, no, you're right.
We should do one of those too. That's good. That's a good idea.
Yeah, the lifetime pass. But so it's available for 1 year. So Michelle, talk about how you're leveraging that. And then Dan, I'm going to bring you into the conversation. And Deborah, have you ask questions, play off of what Michelle shared. But how are you and your team using that pass right now? Curious.
Well, the first way I leveraged that pass was I'm back in the offices. We're back to live meetings in the real estate offices, which has been a lot of fun. And let me tell you, the agents were like open arms, please come into our office because they're super busy right now. If you're a real estate broker or you're managing an office right now, you're super busy helping your agents right now secure contracts. You're not creating content for these meetings and they haven't had live meetings in a while. So it was with welcome arms. It's like, yes, please bring some great content to our office meetings. So the first couple of meetings that I attended, I personally have not done a great job of sharing how we use the total cost analysis. And I'm not doing this, Dave, just as a sales pitch. I'm being serious. I haven't done a great job of sharing how we use total cost analysis to ask the questions, listen to the client story, and put numbers together that help them make a buying decision on really what makes the most sense to them, instead of like I'm forcing them into here's your loan, sign here. So man, you're Kelly, I mean, everybody just killed it on explaining the total cost analysis. And I just shared the little videos of what my team is doing for their clients. And I showed the videos that you guys had put together in the real estate summit to show them what a total cost analysis was, how we're using that with every one of our client pre-approval process, part of that pre-approval process. So that was a great intro for us to be able to talk to them about how we are there as a partner to help their clients, make the buying decision, blah, 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 blah. So that was the first way I leveraged the content.
So you're actually using some of the mortgage coach ambassadors and some of those videos to explain mortgage strategies to agents. What about some of the agents that you're leveraging? Are there any particular agents or
No, so
presentations
that's number two. So here's what my thoughts were. I was thinking about now that I got my pass, my 12-month pass, not my 12-year. Now that I have my 12-month pass, I think what I'm going to do is give them options. I have a private Facebook group, and I communicate with my agents through this private Facebook group, and I provide them all kind of resource and information in that group. I think I'm going to screenshot and give them like 3 people to choose from. Hey, what's your top struggles right now? And who of these 3 people would you like to hear from? Let's schedule some time to get together, and I'll have a meeting in your office and bring this person to you.
Love that. So,
and then I'll have enough for, show them what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So guys, we've organized this in the real estate guide under strategy, leadership, mindset, execution, part 1 and part 2 of social media and marketing, part 1 and part 2 of sales skills, mortgage strategy, which is the one that Michelle was mentioning, using these to teach and train. And then of course, team building. And then of course, we still have the full run of the show. And then in addition to that, to help make training easy, like let's say people wanted to learn how to be a wealthy agent from Brett Tanner, which by the way, guys, this particular video is pure gold of how to like literally create wealth as an agent. But we've also got action notes. So all of the most prominent ones, there's taking action notes. So it's literally a training program. And remember, guys, the content here, it's micro content. The longest presentations are 20 minutes. A lot of these presentations are 5 minutes. So just remember, you've got this pass and you've got all this content. But I like that. You're going to say, hey, agents, what do you want to learn?
What is your struggle? What's your biggest struggle you'd like for me to cover? And who do you want to hear from?
Love that. And so you're doing that in person. So, and Shayla Gifford, I talked to her a week ago, and she said one of her coaching clients had invited some agents over to an open house, not an open house, but a happy hour. And they use as entertainment, they use some of the content from this as a discussion topic. What about Zoom, lunch and learns on Zoom? Are you still doing those, or are you really going all in person now?
No, I have a power hour, and so I do weekly Zoom power hours, and then I do in-person realtor classes.
So guys, one more thing I want to remind you, if you are in Zoom, when you share at the bottom, if you click share sound and optimize for video, and then you pick the actual app, I want to just remind you, like watch this.
For the real estate and mortgage industry today. So if you were to think about the history of communication.
So I just wanted to remind you, in Zoom, you can play these videos as though they're lifelike. Like literally, you could play it. I didn't do it completely lifelike because I did not click.
You would go
optimize
maybe say 100
the
years
screen.
back.
but I
Let's
could have
think-
optimized the screen,
Every American
and it's
got
literally
their own home.
like you have
right
the
around the
agent
turn of the century,
right on the
especially
call
when
with
we
you.
saw
So I just want to remind you that's something you could do. Have you ever done that, Michelle?
Yes. Big difference.
Love it. So what else are you doing? I know we only got you for about another 15 minutes. Give us one more idea, and then Dan and Deborah, you can either add some color to it or ask Michelle another question. But like, what's another strategy? It may be related to
Well, you know what? I really want to elaborate a little bit more on doing those Zoom classes, those power hours. You can reach so many. Doing live classes are great, but it's the same people that typically show up for those live classes, right? I mean, so you're in front of the same people over and over. That's fabulous. I would not take that off my calendar. I missed it during COVID. I'm so happy to be back doing that again because of that face-to-face interaction. But doing classes by Zoom, especially, I mean, I've started promoting them on social, spending a little bit of money to get the audience that I want, setting them up, and that's like my casting the wide net of realtors, getting to know the realtors on a one-on-one basis, and then deciding who is a good fit for me and my team to work with and take that relationship further. Now, some of the realtors that we're working with are just, I'm just there to educate, to provide resources, to train and mentor, and that's perfectly fine. They've got a great lender relationship with somebody else and they're just using me for information. I'm cool with that. But then for those that are a good fit, I mean, it's just such an easy way to cast a net to, be that person that is providing the resource and the information. You're the one in authority. You get to show that you have answers and solutions and you're listening to their problems and you're there for them. And then you can take that relationship offline and nurture it into something that becomes then a great referral partnership. So I just can't talk enough about the importance of getting comfortable with being an educator, a mentor, a leader in our industry, and just having that content readily available is huge. You're muted.
and I hope everybody caught it. She doesn't care whether they do business with them. I just want to help them. I want to love on them. I want to educate them, and it'll all come around. Dan Keller, any comments, any questions so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think Michelle and I share a lot of this same business practices. The one thing I'll add to that is so to the younger or newer loan officers listening, that was me. I mean, 2008, 2009, that's how I built my business, was teaching. I didn't know how to teach. I wasn't a leader. I was insecure. I mean, I was going against guys like Cody Touche in my marketplace who were already studs, back then. And so how do I compete with those guys? They know more about loans than me. They know more about the business than me. They know more realtors than me. What I did is I created commentary around loan programs. Cool. FHA has this program. It's, down payment assistance. There's a zero down program, USDA. And I would just write about it, blog about it. This is kind of a little before social media too. But I would then host classes and lunch and learns where I would teach real estate agents. And I've always said this, my job is to make you more money. I think when I spoke at the American Dream Conference prior to COVID, and I got up on stage, I asked, and there was almost all realtors in the audience. I said, hey, I'm a lender. What do you think my number one job is? And it was to fund the loan and to communicate and to do this and that. And I go, no, you guys are all wrong. My number one job is to make you rich, to make you more money. As a mortgage lender, I want to make you more money as a real estate agent. My team processes the loans. My team funds the loans. I meet with your clients. I get 5-star reviews. I make you look good. I help you with, find some gaps in your business where maybe you're not mailing to your database or emailing, or you're struggling with video, or you're struggling with social media, and I help bridge those gaps. But I think to piggyback on what Michelle was saying from an educational standpoint, not all of us were born educators. I happened to be a teacher before I got into mortgage, a professor before I got into mortgage. So teaching was easy for me. It may not be easy for you. So like my wife's good buddy, Cody Rigsby says, be you, boo. Like, be you. If you're not a teacher, then don't go try to teach. But you can create content about mortgages. You can create content that will help home buyers. And I think as you get more and more comfortable with mortgage, more and more comfortable talking to realtors, you'll evolve into that advisor, into that teacher. And so if you're a teacher, if you like teaching and speaking, great. Up your game, get with a guy like Rene Rodriguez and continue to grow. If you're not, just start finding tidbits, mortgage programs, watch all of the information that you guys just talked about that Mortgage Coach shares, and just share it. I heard Jeremy, and one last thing, I heard Jeremy Forcier talk about this like 5 or 6 years ago. And he was like, I just like print off an article and go hand it out to real estate agents, or I email it out to real estate agents. And then he goes, I call them a week later and say, hey, did you get my email about such and such? It's not his content. And it's the easiest way to make a cold call or a follow-up phone call. And so there's so many ways. No more excuses. That's what I learned from Renee. Everyone's going to try to think of, most of the young mortgage lenders are going to think of excuses. NME, no more excuses. It's kind of like my shirt today, my daughter. Nobody cares. Work harder. It's just get after it. Find a way, get out there, get your name out there, add value. And it's one last thing. I was interviewing a brand new loan officer yesterday. He was like, I don't think I can do this. I'm in sales right now, but I don't know anything about mortgages. And I was like, that's great. I have the team that will help you with that. But you're a relational guy. Real estate agents will do business with you because they like you, because you're friends with them, because they have a relationship with you. I said, go out. He said he had like 6 or 7 friends that are realtors. I was like, money. That's awesome. They already know you. They already like you. Just get them, build more of that relationship. Make sure they know what you're doing. And then ask and just say, hey, give me your next deal. Give me a shot. And so that's it. It's relational. You don't have to be a teacher. You don't have to know it all right now, but start. And then 5 years from now, 10 years from now, like me, you're teaching, you're putting on webinars, you're putting on seminars, and you'll be adding much, much more value as you continue to learn more about your industry.
Well, Dan, we're going to totally drill down on what you're doing, how you're doing it, how you got there in the second half of this call. Deborah, anything you want to add before we bring it back to Michelle?
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback on what both of them said. And, at the end of the day, it's about relationships. And if you're just meeting expectations, that may create satisfaction, but that doesn't create a raving fan. And a raving fan can't be tempted. So that goes to not only your clients, but with your partnerships. What are you doing to exceed expectations? How are you giving greater value? That means you can't be a secret or a stranger. So I like what Michelle said when, it doesn't matter if everybody uses her, but when she's consistently clear on her value of, I want to be, giving, give, it's that whole Gary V. Jab, 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 right hook, then she becomes known for the one that exceeds expectations. And then you have your raving fans out selling you to everybody else. So that creates loyalty. I love it.
Love it. Well, we're keep jumping in with ideas and concepts. Todd, anything you want to add or a question you have for Michelle at this point?
Well, I want to highlight, Michelle said that she was showing the videos that the loan officers added in there. And you actually don't have to buy the pass to get those videos, right? We've got the playlist. What's it called, Dave, that you created in the YouTube channel of those videos?
Yeah, it's called the Agent Advantage playlist. And it, by the way, it's going to grow. In fact, Deborah and Michelle are collaborating on a video next week that will be going into that modern agent. It's called the Agent Advantage playlist in the Mortgage Coach channel. And we're looking for more people that want to have videos added to that particular playlist.
Well, and the other thing I think is that, it's Michelle and Dan make it sound so easy, right? And they both kind of said it, hey, you might be nervous about doing this. So Michelle, when you're, can you just kind of walk us through brass tacks when you're going to show a video, like, how do you invite people to the meeting? How do you, start the Zoom call? How do you say, oh, here's a great video? Can you kind of just walk through that a little bit?
So I think it's really important that you listen. You've got to be paying attention to what is their biggest pain point? What is their struggle? Because you got to know what resources will help them in their business. Because I feel like, again, like Deborah said, I'm just a really big giver. And part of what I give is encouragement and keep people fired up. Right now, let me tell you, it's hard. It's hard to be a realtor. It's hard to be a lender. So what can I do to provide them support? So I think number one, content is important, but you have to know looking for to provide the content. And then for me, what I have found is the easiest way to promote an event is I just go into Eventbrite and create the event there, because I want to leverage. I am always looking for the most efficient way to get the most amount of work done in the least amount of time. So I'm just always leveraging technology, and Eventbrite is a good way to do that. And then you can put a link to everything and they send all the follow-ups. So I don't have to worry about doing the follow-up. And then from Eventbrite, I share to Facebook. Well, if I want to put some money behind that, I could spend $5 a day for about 3 or 4 days prior to the event and get an audience, or I can promote it organically. I also go in there. I have 600 or 700 agents that I have on my list, so I'll use BombBomb Video to promote the event as well, asking them to share, and I'll put it in my private Facebook group. So typically I can get 30 to 40 people on a Zoom call. And again, content matters. So if what you're providing to them helps solve a problem, then people will show up, which is why it is very important you're paying attention to what the struggles are. And then once I have everybody show up for the event, again, you've got a lot to have. I mean, you need some Q&A. People need to feel like they're being seen and heard on these Zoom calls. So you ask a lot of questions. Hey, what are you guys seeing? What's going on in the market right now? What's your biggest struggle? How do you feel I can help you best? And then you can go into the introduction of whatever you're going to show. After you show or you talk about whatever your talking points are, again, you need to ask for interaction. People want to be seen and heard. They want to know that you care. And you do that by asking those questions on those Zoom calls. It's not just to get on your soapbox and preach to people. It's connection. And then from there, they'll decide if they know you based on this interaction, if they like you. And then you can take it to the next level. You have, through Eventbrite, now you have everybody that attended email address, and you have their contact information. So then now you have a list of people that you're going to follow up, thank for attending, make sure they have a link to what you provided as the training call and any of the resources. So those notes that you guys are provided, that's a great handout to follow up with after that. But I always have flyers, information, something to put in their inbox that they can use then to follow up as a resource, or the goal is to get them to share it with others in their office. Oh my gosh, look what I just attended and look what I got from this class that I attended. And then make sure that they know when you're going to do it again. Before you get off that call, hey, I do this once a week for 1 hour, this time, this day. Let me know if you'd like for me to put you on my mailing list.
So guys, let's summarize. Michelle has 70 agents that she's loving on regularly that are active and referring her business. She's got 700 agents in her database. She's using Eventbrite to schedule it, help with follow-up. She's promoting on Facebook. I know she's calling people. Sometimes she's putting $5 a day for 3 days. That's $15.
I skipped the text blast. I do a text blast with the link to the Zoom call. I do it 3 days prior to, I do it the day before and an hour before. A text blast with the Zoom link.
Okay, so in a text blast. So you got that. And then, guys, you got to be a leader, a teacher, a guide, a coach. Those people that have that role and are perceived with that role by agents do the most business. You got to go beyond the transaction. If you go beyond the transaction, you will have more transactions than you can handle. Michelle, any final words before we let you jump? You're on mute.
I just want to remind you guys, listen, I've been doing this since 96. I still get nervous. I still doubt myself. I don't know that you ever become a pro where you hop up on stage and don't have the butterflies or you don't have the sweats. You just power through those knowing that you're there. I mean, I have a heart to serve. I'm there for a purpose and a reason, and that's because I truly care about those that I do business with, and I want to provide information and value to them. And so you use that to drive you past the nerves, the butterfly, the apprehension, the doubting of yourself. Because, they need to hear from us. Our realtor partners need us. right now.
Amazing. Michelle, you were awesome. We're 30 minutes into it. Have an awesome weekend. Go enjoy time with your grandkids and your family. And thank you for always being so active, both in our Facebook group and jumping on here to talk about how you're being a guide to agents.
Absolutely.
All
I'll be
right.
watching, I can't wait to watch the playback because I know you guys got 30 more minutes of wonderfulness.
Yeah, well, we're going to bring Dan Keller. We're going to drill him every 3 ways to Sunday. A lot of questions have come in. One person asked, hey, even if I didn't go to the live Modern Real Estate Summit, can I still get a ticket? The question is yes. The tickets are going to go up on June 15th to $199. So they're available today for $99. Go there, sign up. There's a link. Someone, Denise, said, was it the Modern Mortgage Summit mentioned earlier? Yeah, that's we've talked about it a couple times, although we're going broader than that. So Dan, let's focus on what you're doing for the next 30 minutes. And you said something that I want to challenge you on. You said, you know what? If not everybody's a teacher, and if you're not a teacher, don't worry about it. Do something else. And my message is, this is the mortgage coach community, and I personally believe the best salespeople on the planet Earth in every form of selling are the best teachers. Period. The book, The Challenger Sale, makes the case for that. Anybody who has not read The Challenger Sale, go get it, read it. But if you're not a teacher today and you want to make more money as a salesperson, become a teacher. Like, that is how you create wow. When you can meet with a family and have them go, wow, I never thought of my mortgage that way. I never thought of this decision that way. That's when your conversion goes through the roof. That's when you kill it. And when you can meet with a realtor or a CPA and a financial planner and talk to them how, hey, I'm not like every other loan officer, and whether you use the word guide, teacher, leader, whatever, the mortgage nerd, whatever word you used. But if you're not positioning yourself as a teacher, you're not positioning yourself to win at the highest level possible. Dan, what are your thoughts on that?
So I have 2 kids. I have a 15-year-old daughter. She's a freshman. And I have a 12-year-old son who's in 6th grade. And I can tell you that even teachers are not good teachers. And one of the things that came out of COVID is that daddy got to see their teachers teaching on their Zoom call, because our kids, we're up here in Seattle, and Seattle's pretty much still in lockdown, I guess, but everything was remote. Everything was virtual. And I just asked my daughter, so she's almost done with her freshman year. And I asked her, I said, because she did this report on the most inspirational person in the world, and you can pick anyone. And I had one of her teachers email me and just said that they were blown away because my daughter, her presentation on the most inspiring, there was Mother Teresa, there was Martin Luther King, there was all these people. Her presentation was on me. And her teacher emailed me, just said, hey, it was beautiful. It brought me to tears. You should be very, very proud of your daughter, et cetera. And so after that email, I said, hey, what do you think of Mr. Taylor? She's like, I love Mr. Taylor. He's my favorite teacher. And I said, what do you love about Mr. Taylor? She was like, she said, he cares. He asks questions. He's fun. He's engaging, and he's inspiring. He's not a great math teacher, history teacher, whatever class they were in. It was all of those other things. And what I can tell you is that by kind of peeking in on both of my kids' school years this year and their teachers on Zoom, there are a lot of teachers that are horrible teachers. And so that should encourage us that even in the teaching profession, if there are teachers that aren't good at teaching, they're maybe just good at math. And so they're like, oh, I'll just go be a math teacher. In mortgage, I will personally tell you this, and I know Michelle was saying the same thing, and Deborah and Mortgage Nerd and all these people can agree with this, that if you can become a great speaker or a teacher and inspire, you will make more money. You will close more loans and you will have a better business. And so it's, when I say that not everyone is a teacher, not everyone is a teacher. I mean, there's loan officers right now that are listening to this or will listen to this, and they're like, did I suck at teaching? I don't even know how to teach, because there is an art and science teaching. Well, cool. Learn how to teach. Learn how to be a better speaker. it comes down to, I mean, you can go back to your database, Dave and Todd, just go listen to every mortgage coach interview that Renee Rodriguez has been on, and Robert Stover has been on, and who's Miller? He wrote the book Storytelling, right? Story Selling. Donald Miller. Don
Yeah.
Miller.
Yeah.
Watch all those interviews right there. You will learn how to teach. So I always start with that, because we need to teach. We need to teach our message to real estate agents. We need to teach our value to our clients. And I believe exactly what you say. Now I'll come full circle to what you said, Dave, is yes, I believe we all should be great teachers in the mortgage industry, because at the end of the day, that's how you're going to convert a first-time home buyer to using you versus a bank or a credit union or an internet broker, by teaching them the benefits of you, by teaching them the benefits of renting versus owning, by teaching them the benefits of financial literacy. And so I would encourage you, yes, if you're not a teacher, if you don't think you're a teacher, if you struggle at public speaking, if you struggle at teaching, learn. It'll make a huge difference in your business.
And I'll add to that, not only will you make a lot more money, not only will you have optimized conversion rates, you will have more fun. From the inside out, it makes the job of being a mortgage professional a whole lot more fun, a whole lot more sustainable. I did an interview a couple of weeks ago where a top loan officer, I mean, $70 million a year producer, said, mortgage coach saved my career, because I was just getting burned out on transactions and solving problems, but I found mortgage coach, and it helped me be a teacher. It helped me be an advisor. And now I love my job. I love doing it. Jeremy Forcier, the one thing that he loves doing the most is creating the TCA. You know, his team does everything else. He likes creating the TCA and communicating, which at the end of the day, it's teaching, guys. So Deborah, any questions you have or any comments you have after hearing Michelle and Dan just now?
Yeah, and I talk about this with my clients a lot. If you're not a good teacher, then get good at it. Either get good at it and learn. There's too much out there nowadays. Even just Renee's Amplify, that's what, in August. Learn to get good at it. It's no longer acceptable for those who identify with excellence and wanting to be great. Doesn't mean you're going to be the best, but you're going to be your best. Then you've got to commit to learning the things that you suck at. So when I was an originator, I kind of have the opposite. I was a teacher. I taught middle school science, and I was a girls athletic coach. And I didn't even know how to spell mortgage. And for those on this call who talk about being fearful of getting out there, and I had lived in Houston and then I moved back to Dallas. And let me tell you, when you have an identical twin who's the mortgage nerd at the same company, in the same market, in the same office, and you're no longer on the same team, and she's got about 12 years on you, there's a lot of mental games that I would play with myself that I had to get over of, where am I going to position myself in this market when everyone's like, oh, are you the mortgage nerd? And I'm like, no, I'm the mortgage bird. I'm the other one. But you learn to get yourself out there and you just be you. I love when Dan said, just be you, boo. And that's what I had to get over my own ego and my own insecurities of just, we may be identical twins and have the exact same DNA, but we couldn't be more different. And so I'm going to showcase just who I am. And there's someone out there for everybody. And so sometimes I think when I speak to my clients, they will constantly compare themselves to like the Michelle Castles and the Dan Keller and Jeremy and Denise. And I'm like, but be you. Just because that's how they did it doesn't mean that's how you have to do it. And small little, tidbit, whenever Denise first started in the business, she even shared this, Dave, when we did the Mortgage Idol, she hated public speaking. She hated getting in front of people. So what did she do? She hired me. And that's what I loved to do. So if you're not good at it, either get good at it or hire someone who is. And she was the mortgage nerd and I was the relationship teacher. I loved people. And so the two of us together, it was dynamite.
Such good wisdom. Todd, any questions you have for either Deborah or Dan, or direction you want to take it at this point?
Yeah, well, I'll start off with, again, I think a lot of you are just thinking, well, I'm just not as polished as Deborah, and I'm certainly not Dan Keller, and I can't speak that well. It's easy for them. I mean, remember what Dan said a few minutes ago about Jeremy, right? Jeremy was just sending out an email and then calling up and following up, right? And even today, Michelle, who's a gifted speaker, right? She's been through Amplify. She has a decked out studio. She's still using the content from the Modern Real Estate Summit to be her content, right? She's not having to create it. She's got the easy button. And when I first started doing video, gosh, years ago, it was probably 2007 or 2008. My coach at the time said, people like your videos because you're not good. And I was like, what? Come on, they're pretty good. And really what he said is that you're authentic. People see your authentic self. And so as I totally agree, get good at it, but you're going to start off and just, as they said, be you. And so I think, Dan, you're doing so much great, cool stuff with financial literacy. How would you encourage someone to kind of find that passion, or at least find whatever the content is that they want to talk about to get started?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what Deborah just said, repeating what I said, be you. Be you. Like financial literacy is just something that I've always, before I got into mortgage, I was getting out of coaching college baseball and teaching to be a financial planner. Like I was prepping and taking the series exams. And so I didn't want to be a mortgage lender. The market crashed. Something happened in 07 and 08. I don't really remember because I wasn't in the mortgage industry, but I guess it was bad for you guys, but evidently it was bad for the economy. And so, I had some guy, one of my athletes, parents say, hey, I think this is the worst time I think it's a bad decision trying to be a financial planner right now in these times. And I was like, all right, well, and then I ended up finding mortgage. But I think I've always kind of had in the back of my mind, like wanted to be a financial planner, I was curious about financial planning, financial literacy, because I grew up poor, not having money. And I had the opportunity to go to college and actually start making money while I was in graduate school. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. Like, it's kind of easy to make. Like, how can I make more of it? And how can I get the money to grow and stuff like that? That was me. It made Cody Touche, for example, stud in my marketplace. We're coached by the same coach. Our coach says, don't buy investment properties. Don't do investment properties. It's a waste of time. Cody has 100 investment properties. That's Cody's thing. Okay. So that's his thing. So he teaches people how to invest in real estate. So find your passion, find maybe your giftedness or something that you're interested in. I didn't start out in 2009 teaching people financial literacy. I wasn't equipped to. I just wasn't. I didn't know enough about it, but I began learning and studying it and then being involved. It clicked. By about 2010, I'm like, holy cow, no one in the mortgage industry is talking this way. We're looking at pay stubs. We're looking at bank statements, investment statements, credit scores, credit reports, how they're spending money, how they're using debt. We have all this information in front of us, more than a financial planner would have. And we're not giving any financial advice or feedback. This is stupid. I just thought that that's what mortgage lenders did because they have all this info. You could say, hey, if you did this, your credit score could be this. Hey, I see that you're not maxing out your 401k. It's free money. You can, because if you didn't spend this much money here and put it over here. So I just thought that that's what mortgage people did because it's the right thing to do because we have all that information. So find your passion in finance, find something you're interested in. It could be teaching. It could be financial literacy. It could be investing. It could be marketing. It could be video. It could be anything, blogging. Find your passion and go with it, but be you. And if you don't know, cool, plug into this. You're going to be so inspired. There's hundreds of top producing loan officers that have their own way of being successful. Be inspired by one of them and then just follow that inspiration.
So Dan, I've got a question before you jump. I know you've got to go in about 6 minutes. We've got this modern real estate summit, guys, and you've got Brett Tanner, one of America's top realtors, teaching on, hey, agents, how to be a wealthy agent. You've got some of the best people talking about leadership, talking about mindset. Kyle Whistle, the keys to execution.
Yep.
I could go on and on. How to do your own Facebook group, how to do FISBOs. So you've got this content that would, one, make you smarter, two, be an educational tool to help your team be smarter. But what we're talking about today is being a leader, a coach, a teacher to real estate agents. So Dan, before you go, how do you think loan officers should be leveraging this content, or mortgage coaches to bring more value to agents? What are some tactics and strategies to use this platform to do so?
Well, I would take any of the headings. I would start with taking any of those breakout session headings and start with a group text to your top agents and create that tribe, create that like power hour that Michelle's doing. Maybe create that email and send it out, and just say that you're plugged into an incredible community that has access to all these different types of top producers. And again, I said this a minute ago, each one of us top producers have our own style. Each one of those real estate agents have their own thing. Seth O'Byrne, video, Kyle Whistle, Facebook groups and community buy-in. Who's the gentleman that you just said that talks about being a wealthy agent?
Brett Tanner.
I mean, geez, just those three things. If Deborah's a real estate agent, hey, Deborah, would you like to learn how the #1 real estate agent in America who went from closing $4 million a year to over $140 million a year did it with video? I have a 20-minute interview with him. His name's Seth O'Byrne. He's in San Diego. He's amazing. You want to learn how he did it? No, I'm not interested. Come on, man. It's a softball. It's a layup. And so that's how I would do it. I would just take the heading. One, I'd watch him so you know a little bit more about him. But the thing I love, because I have a hard time focusing for long periods of time, they're short and they are power-packed videos. Watch it, summarize it, send it out, and then host a power hour around it. And then the one thing that I do with my power hours, and I've learned this with real estate agents, is I keep them short. So I'm instead of being an hour lunch and learn, I'm keeping them to 30 minutes, and then I'm doing a social afterward. Hitting them with a ton of power for 30, and then we do a social. So the ones that are interested, stay around. The ones that want more, stay around. But that's what I would do. There's more content and more value in that community right there, Dave and Todd, than anything out there. Take one of those real estate agents topics and send it out for a week. And FYI, guys, that's literally what I'm doing right now. If you follow me on social media, I'm doing a 52-week training program where I'm breaking down the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one of the best business books and personal development books ever written. There's a 52-week program. There's one cue card a week. It says week 1, blah, 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 blah. The content's already there. I don't have to research it. I don't have to make it up. I take week 1, I go read a part of the book, cool. And then I create content around it and I teach that. So that's all I'm doing with that book. That's all I would encourage you to do with the real estate agent series.
So guys.
Hey, Dave, can I add to that?
Go for it.
Whenever Dan said, hey, Deborah, I have this agent. And if the agent says, nah, that's also a good thing, because now you know who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. If they don't want to invest and learn, chances are you don't share the same core values. So either way, it's a win-win. The ones that say no, the ones that say yes, it's a win-win either way.
Good point. So guys, the name, the volume, so you're telling their story of success, the topic, do you want to learn? Text, email, in-person teaching, training, being the guide, on Zoom, however you want it. Dan, I know you got to jump, brother. I really appreciate all the value. I think this is the second time in a week you have joined me on Zoom. Thank you, brother, and have an awesome weekend.
Oh, always an honor. And thanks for having me. Todd, you guys are awesome. Deborah, keep crushing. All right.
Thanks, Dan.
All
Good
right.
seeing you.
So we got Deborah and Todd and myself to wrap a bow around this, guys. So Deborah, let's have you go and talk about what people should be doing on social media to be a coach, leader, trainer, guide. And then if you could give them your playbook on how you think loan officers should be leveraging this platform to teach. And then Todd, I'll have you go and help wrap up the call. And remember, guys, if you have questions, put them in chat, whether you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, whatever questions you have, we'll get to them.
So the beauty with social media is you get to control what people see, and perception's reality. So in order for that to work, you have to be consistent. You need a consistent strategy with the right content. And like we just discussed, you already have the content. Use the Modern Real Estate Summit as your content and consistently create little nuggets, or hire my team to do it for you, where we will create the nuggets in your brand with your headshot and logo and everything, so that you get a message out there consistently. So you start reshaping perceptions out there that, let's face it, there's some out there that are incorrect, and they may be louder than you, and they may be more consistent, which would be a problem, because we want to make sure that we're giving families good advice. And the only way to build trust is through consistency. And I think sometimes we get in our own way because we don't even trust ourselves, because we don't have a plan, which is why you need the Win by Noon planner. And you need to make a commitment of when you're going to do these power hours. Then you leverage the admin task of marketing, because that's really an administrative task that probably isn't the best use of your time. We already know the content because we helped, create it now, and then consistently get it out there and boost your event. Everything that Dan and Michelle said. It's no longer the excuse of you don't know what to post. You don't even need to know how to post. You just need to do and take action, which means you need a plan. So get your planner, write it out for the month, write it out for the rest of the year. You have to pass for the whole year. So if you already had that appointment set in your calendar, and you had a reoccurring, say it's the first Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m., then all your agents will know the first Tuesday of every month. They don't even have to know the topic necessarily, but they know you're always going to provide value, which is also important, because when you do post things, you don't want it to be so diluted that, when people see your name, they just keep skimming because it's just noise. But value is different to different people. The perception of value, you've got to go deep with your partnerships and ask, what is it that you value and why? And if you don't have trust, you're going to get a very surface level answer that may not be real. So you want to partner and target the right relationships and go deep and allow your social sphere to consistently get the right messaging of who you are, what value you bring, and then tell them where to go to learn more of the things that you're providing.
Love it. Love it. So if anyone wants to consult with you, get some advice from you, or hire you to help provide them a social media strategy or to manage them on social media, what's the best way for them to contact you?
They can email me at support@plugandplaysm.com.
We'll put a link down below. Deborah is the social media strategist for both the Modern Mortgage and the Modern Real Estate Summit. So thank you for everything you're doing. I love how you've been promoting one specific speaker. And one of the things we might do after hearing Dan talk, almost like lead people, like when we're promoting it, give them a script on, hey, if you wanted to say, hey, realtor, or hey, my realtor Facebook group, would you like to hear from blank who does this volume on this topic? Let me know. We might want to almost come up with our own scripting so that not only are we promoting the event, but we're giving loan officers ammunition on how to position every presentation. What do you think of that, Deborah? That was an idea that popped in my mind when Dan was talking.
You're such a creative genius. I love when your wheels are going like that. No, I think that's a great idea. I think the more we can create that people can literally just screenshot or download and share it with their database, the easier we can make it for them. Kind of like what I was thinking about was when he mentioned that 52-week training on the book. I'm like, okay, how do we break this down with a cue card of the 52-week training of the Modern Real Estate Summit, where there's little cards, just like what he was talking about, and we package it a little bit differently, where it's that plug and play, keeping it simple.
Plug and play, no pun intended. Plug the queen of plug and play sm.com. Check it out, guys. Deborah, you're a huge gift to this community. I really appreciate all the posts you do in the group, the comments. I mean, you give just a lot of free value and free advice. So super grateful for that. Guys, can't emphasize enough. Make sure you follow Deborah, get to know Deborah, follow the Modern Real Estate Summit on Instagram and Facebook. The marketing that we're going to be doing for that event won't be just marketing going forward. It will be like, hey guys, this is how you should do it. So when you follow those two places, you're getting inspiration on how to leverage that content in the marketplace. And of course, we'd love to have you as part of that community. Todd's already put a link on where and how to sign up for that. So Todd, we got 5 minutes left. I don't know if you want to ask a question. I don't know if you want to go into Mr. Win by Noon planning playbook, but I'll let you take it from here, brother.
Well, it's so funny that Deborah, you talked about maybe doing cue cards on it, because I went in and I recounted the number of videos that's in there, and there's 59 right now in there. So
Wow.
it's more than enough for every week. And then we also have videos that are going in next week that are the videos. We had too much content for the full run of show on the day of the summit. And so we've got videos. I'm trying to remember the number, but it's probably another 8 or 10 videos from all the speakers that we didn't have as part of the live show that'll be loaded up in there as well. They won't have the taking action notes because of the fact they weren't part of the live show. And that's where we hired the e-learning expert who took those notes and created those for us. But there'll be more videos. And so I just loved your idea of setting something out and letting people know, hey, this is the day of the week that I own and that you should all be attending my webinar, because you absolutely have a video a week if you want to do it weekly, or you can pick out your favorite 12 and do it once a month. And just really think about the easy button, right? I love I was thinking the same thing, right? Make it plug and play. And of course, that's a good plug for you. And, I would reemphasize what Dave said. I mean, the content stuff that you've done for us and for Win by Noon has been pretty amazing. And so I just think that, those of you who are listening, you've got to think through, whether you're watching this live or on the recording, you've got to think through what is the action I'm going to take now, right? And anytime you sit through an hour of learning, the goal is to take action, right? It's one thing to hear it and get inspired and change your mindset and be motivated, all those things. But now it's, how are you going to take action? Like, look at what are the easiest steps, right? So take all the ideas, right? So I've got half a dozen ideas that I took from listening to Dan and Michelle that I think, hey, my team can execute. And then think about which one is most exciting to you, or actually do it a little bit differently. Which one is going to be the easiest for you to implement? Right? I mean, look at what you're going to do. Those of you who haven't watched the summit yet, I would go in, and the first one I would watch is Kyle Whistle talk about execution. He talks about doing, and done. And I would look at which one of those ideas is going to be the easiest to execute. If you already have a Facebook group, maybe it's just going to go post in there, like Michelle said, a screenshot of the speakers and say, which one of these do you want to hear from first? It may be doing what Deborah said, just shooting out a quick text blast to everybody and say, hey, I'm doing a Zoom call, or whether it's live or Zoom on Monday. But just think about what it is, and then look at what the action steps are to get it done, and then start doing it, right? It's Friday. Take a little bit of time right after this call to brainstorm, right? Dave and I would call it a jam session, and just take time and make that jam session and get it done and get it started. And then you've got all weekend to execute, but don't wait till next week, right? If you're going to wait till next week, then I just think it's less likely, you're going to get it done. And, I know some people are like, oh, but you guys are here selling a product. Well, we made it cheap, right? I mean, it's $99 for right now till it goes up to $199, and it's packed full of value. But, even if you don't use that product, do something, right? Dan's using it from a book, right? You can use the free videos in whatever that agent, I can't remember that agent playlist, Dave. I don't know why I keep drawing a blank to that one. What's it called again?
Agent Advantage playlist.
Advantage. It's such a great name too. But again, you were here, so take the time and go out there and be successful, right? That's what Dave and I wish for you. That's why we're here every Friday doing what we do, to add value to you, so you can add value to your partners and have a lot of fun while you're at it, as Dave mentioned before.
So guys, I'm going to close out with some comments in our Facebook group from Denise Donahue, who's clearly been watching this, Deborah. And so her first comment was, for the record, I still hate public speaking. So, but here's the deal, guys. She does it. So it's stressful for her. It's not easy. She gets the butterflies, but she does it, because that's how you achieve your personal greatness. She also made a comment here. Being a good communicator means asking the right questions, listening, and then asking the next question based off of what you heard. By the way, Larry King, you asked Larry King, what's the best question? It's the question after the question. And then Denise goes on to say, it's like sports. When you're the point guard, you have to know how to pivot, how to learn. You practice, you watch film. These videos in the summit are amazing. Watch them. Go watch it now. So guys, check it out. Kim, the book I think you're referencing that you asked what book it was, it's The Challenger Sale. The best sales book ever written of all time. And I've read, I don't know if it's hundreds, but over 100 sales books in detail, and The Challenger Sale is amazing. So guys, we hope you got value from this hour. Deborah, you were awesome. Thank you for all the value you bring to the community and to the, the platforms. And I know everybody appreciates it. Todd, you crushed it with your closing thoughts. Guys, this call is a wrap. If you got value, give it a like down below. If you're watching it in Facebook, give it a like. If you're watching it on YouTube, give it a like. Share it with any friends that you think would get value from it. Take care, everybody. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you next week.